Hello, everybody. Going to start talking about exponents today, and it's probably been a while since we have talked about exponents. So I want to start before I even tell you what I want to teach you today. Take a minute here and do a little reminder for yourself on exponents. Three of these four exponent expressions are equal to the same amount, and one is not. Can you figure out which one? Pause and figure it out. Unpause when you're ready to move on. Okay, now that that is out of the way, a little refresher. Today I want to teach you how to simplify expressions that involve exponents by expanding them first. Make this the title on the next 3 pages in your math notebook. When you've done that, concentrate and follow along with me. Some reminders. Exponents, been a while, right? Exponents, yes, exponents, no. When you see a exponent, like say that, 6 to the 4th power, we would say, times 6. There are 4 6's multiplied. That is what an exponent means. We would say 6 to the 4th power. Third powers and second powers have special names. We say 6 to the 2nd power. Sometimes you'll hear that 6 squared, often said 6 squared. It just means 6 times 6. There's 2 6's. Third power we often call 6 cubed, because you could, if you made a cube out of, this is going to come out bad, out of cubes. So sometimes you say 6 squared, 6 cubed, then you just say 4th power, 5th power, 6th power, and so on. That's how exponents work. Exponents do not work like this. A lot of times the easiest mistake to make is just multiply them and say 6 to the 4th power is 24. It is 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. That's going to be quite a bit, and definitely not 24. So that's how exponents work, just as a reminder. And another one, in our title, we had expressions and equations. So just as an idea, 2 to the 4th power is an expression. There's no equal sign, nothing equal to. 2 to the 4th power, that is 2 times 2 is 4 times 8, 16. So this is an equation. This is an expression. So we're going to be dealing with this. We're not necessarily trying to figure out what exponents equal today. We're going to do some things with them. And that I don't need till tomorrow. I forgot to delete it. Same with that. Off we go. So take a look at this one first. I have kind of I do and we do on the same page. I'm going to show you two. So let's start with this. Here's an expression with exponents in it. 10 to the 3rd power times 10 to the 2nd power. And I'm not asking you necessarily to figure out what does that equal. You could just put that in a calculator and figure it out. I want to simplify it into an expression that just involves one power or one exponent. So here's how we can do that, right? If I think about this, I'll write it more formally here first. I've got 10 to the 3rd power times, and that's important, 10 to the 2nd power. Well, 10 to the 3rd power is 10 times 10 times 10. Times is still there. 10 to the 2nd power is 10 times 10. And you'll notice, thanks to this multiplying, we have a big string of multiplying. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which we could rewrite as 10 to the 5th power. So 10 to the 3rd power times 10 to the 2nd power is the same thing as 10 to the 5th power. So the way I would do that, expanded form, is just what I did here, right? I would say, 10 to the 3rd power is 10 times 10 times 10. Maybe I would write that up here. Times 10 to the 2nd power is 10 times 10. And now look, you just have multiply, 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 multiply. You have all these 10s multiplied together. They're the same as 10 to the 5th power. All right, open your math notebook up. I want to do this one with the 2's together. So let's do the same thing there. Let's simplify that so that it can have a single power. Take a moment and you can copy this table down here and we'll work it out. So 2 to the 4th power times 2 to the 3rd power. 2 to the 4th power is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 to the 3rd power is 2 times 2 times 2. And now you'll notice we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. lots of 2's multiplied. Altogether, there are 7. So that's the same as 2 to the 7th power. So if you figured out what this equaled and you figured out what this equaled, they would equal the same thing. And that's all there is to it. So that's our first I do and we do. Take a moment, pause here, and write that down. And then I have another version of a similar situation to this on the next slide. All right. Another situation you'll sometimes see is this. This is kind of hard to tell how it's written, but this is basically 10 to the 3rd power to the 2nd power. So it's an exponent raised to another exponent. And that works a little bit differently. So same thing, we're going to end up just expanding it out, but I want to show you how that works. So I'm going to do it down here first before I write it neatly in the box. So if you think about how this would work, 10 to the 3rd power to the 2nd power is, let's kind of imagine for a minute you didn't know what was in the parentheses here. It's whatever is in the parentheses to the 2nd power times itself. So what happens to be in the parentheses is this. So it is this times itself 2 times. So this first step is sort of like, okay, that is 10 to the 3rd power times 10 to the 3rd power because it's a 2nd power. So it's whatever's in the parentheses times itself, 2nd power. And now I can go back to that thing I did on the last one and say, oh yeah, and that means this is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, and that all ends up being 10 to the 6th power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10s all multiplied. So let me do that again. So what that ends up being, that is the same as 10 to the 3rd power times 10 to the 3rd power, right? 10 to the 3rd power twice, which is the same as 10 times 10 times 10 times, you'll notice I kind of offset it a little bit. Like I notice these are the first 3 and then these are the second 3. I try to make it clear what I'm showing and not just write a ton of 10s. And that all ends up being 10 to the 6th power. All right, open your notebook again, and let's do this one with the 2's. So here's how this works. I'm gonna write it like I wrote the first one for you. So 2 to the 4th power to the 3rd power, we start by this to the 3rd power. So whatever's in the parentheses to the 3rd power. So that's the same as 2 to the 4th times 2 to the 4th times 2 to the 4th. So that's the first step in my expanding, is to say I've got 2 to the 4th 3 times. Then the next step is to expand even further all of these other 2's. So that's 2 times 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 2, which all together ends up being 4, 8, 12 2's, so 2 to the 12th power. So if you found this and you found this, they would equal the same thing. This is hard to put in a calculator. This is usually not, so that's why this ends up usually helping. And that, my friends, is how you simplify expressions with exponents to have a single power. Hope that made good sense to you. And we're going to get to some more versions like this tomorrow. So make sure these make great sense to you. And when they do, you're all set. And we'll see you tomorrow.